Okay, so we will give you a short tour for all things Operate First Community Cloud from a technical perspective. That means how you interact with the community cloud, how you deploy your workloads there, how you inspect your workloads. But before, I want to give a short overview about the motivation behind this Operate First Community Cloud, why we have set it up, and how we want to engage and what our user personas are that we want to target. So it all stems or goes back to this contributor funnel that you were typically seeing in open source software. So you had a funnel of users and you want to convert them at the end into contributors that make your software better and help operate it, help add features to it. So that only works if you make your software super transparent in terms of the community and in terms of getting started from both sides of the spectrum. So make it really easy for people to use it and really easy to contribute back. Now translate that to an operations scenario. That's not so easy anymore because operations are always proprietary by default. You don't want to have all your incidents, all your logging data, all your operational secrets. Well, maybe you don't want to share secrets, but also you don't want to share your deployment artifacts, probably. So how do we translate that into a hybrid cloud setting? That's what Operate First, the community cloud, is all about. So we want to create a hybrid cloud with full visibility into the operations center. The personas that we address and that we want to be really inclusive to are operational folks. So you want your ops people contributing to running this cloud and operating this cloud. You want to have workloads. That's typically there would be community projects as developers running workloads, running stuff on that cloud, but also developers that support the operations and the platform itself. So you would have Kubernetes as a platform or some Linux drivers as the platforms, and you want to have these developers also contributing back to this community cloud. And you want to have users using the services that those developers set up, because without active users, you don't get any issues, you don't get any bugs that you would discover. You want to have people working with those users, working with those developers, supporting them in order to create best practices for support and collect questions so that the future user doesn't have to answer these questions anymore. So you would also have people just monitoring issues and solving these issues as best as they can, or then direct those issues to people that can actually work on them. Also, cloud architects or solution architects or whatever architects deploying demos, deploying reference architectures into that setting, and then not tearing these reference architectures down after they have presented those to a customer or to their audience, but let them long running in that environment so that they are live and create data and are open for introspection. So instead of creating PDFs and blog posts, you want to have a long running reference architecture in such a setting. And then maybe at some point we have our AI overloads coming into the game and do all the fancy stuff for us so that we can play video games.
Marcel, you said questions at the end
Later,
of the document. Yes. We do it at the end. Okay.
Yes. Unless there's something obviously wrong.
No, you're never ever wrong. Okay. Go ahead, please.
So everything should start from this operatefirst.cloud website, right? So if you're a developer, you go to that call to action button. If you more somebody who wants to operate stuff on the website or stuff, if you want to operate parts of this community cloud, you want to click this button. And if you want to connect with the community, you select one of these small icons up there. This website should be your one-stop shop to basically get started. And if something's not on that website, you should be able to file issues or contribute back to that website. So let's see what we have. You click on I'm an open source developer, and you would have this mass open cloud setting, which is not really functional at the moment, but that would be something that we might want to fix anyways. So you get to this user section here, and you see where a mailing list is, and where your environments, where the environments are. You get a little explanation, and at the end you could contribute to this page, which brings you to the source of this page, and you can then immediately fix stuff if you would fancy so. But you can also request access to those clusters, or you can do it your own way. So there's some explanation how you would onboard yourself to that cluster. If you are somebody who wants to get started with SRE practices, it'll take you to the operations section up here, and some explanation behind how our services are being monitored, and it takes you to the Prometheus instance that is monitoring the Grafana instance, etc., how we do incident management and stuff, and run books. And I think, yeah, this is it. You will have a link to the support page and the data science part, which we use as our first major workload that we operate in this cloud environment. With this, I would stop sharing my screen, and we move over to this data centers section.